Are you taking vitamin D every morning because you were told it is essential for muscle strength, fat loss, and energy? Here's the surprising truth. For most people, vitamin D alone is not the magic bullet for building muscle. In fact, relying only on a vitamin D supplement may be keeping you stuck, tired, sluggish, and unable to gain lean muscle, even though you are eating right and exercising. Here is what is really going on inside your body. Muscle does not grow simply because you swallow a single nutrient. Muscle tissue is a living, dynamic organ system. It requires a precise hormonal environment, a flow of raw building materials, and the right biochemical triggers to activate muscle protein synthesis. If even one of those pieces is missing, your body shifts into maintenance mode instead of growth mode. That means your workouts do not translate into visible muscle, your metabolism slows down, and your fat burning capacity weakens. The good news is this: research is now showing that there are two often overlooked vitamins that can completely change the way your body builds and maintains muscle. And here is the key. When you take these vitamins first thing at breakfast, they align with your natural circadian rhythm, your hormonal cycles, and your metabolic machinery. That timing matters. It means instead of wasting nutrients later in the day, your body can use them immediately in the morning to activate muscle growth pathways, improve recovery from exercise, and stabilize energy all day long. Let me give you a simple analogy. Think of your muscle like a construction site. Protein is the raw material, the bricks. Exercise provides the workers. But without the right foreman directing the project, the building never goes up. These two vitamins act like the foreman. They tell your body, start the construction process right now. Without them, the workers stand around holding bricks, waiting for instructions. With them, everything clicks into motion. Why does this matter? Because as we age, beginning in our 30s and accelerating in our 40s, 50s, and beyond, we naturally lose muscle mass. This process is called sarcopenia. It is one of the strongest predictors of frailty, insulin resistance, weight gain, and early aging. But here is the empowering part. You can slow and even reverse that decline with the right nutrition strategy. And these two vitamins are a critical piece of that strategy. So in this session, I am going to break down exactly which two vitamins make the biggest difference for muscle growth, why the timing of breakfast is the perfect window for taking them, how they interact with your hormones like insulin and cortisol, and what foods or supplements provide the cleanest and most effective forms. If you have been frustrated with slow progress in the gym, if you feel like your metabolism has hit a wall, or if you are serious about protecting your muscle for the decades ahead, then this is for you. By the end, you will have a clear, science-backed protocol that you can put into practice tomorrow morning. Most people have been told that vitamin D is the foundation for strong muscles, strong bones, and a resilient immune system. And yes, vitamin D plays an important role in calcium absorption, bone density, and even hormonal signaling. But here is the problem. Muscle growth is not just about one nutrient. Relying on vitamin D supplements alone is like trying to fuel an entire power grid with a single battery. It helps a little, but it is nowhere near enough to power the system. Here is what is really going on inside your body. Vitamin D acts more like a switch than a builder. It helps your muscle cells recognize hormonal signals, for example, testosterone and insulin, that tell the body it is time to repair and grow. But once that signal is received, your body still needs the raw materials and the spark to carry out the work. Without those other inputs, the switch gets flipped, but nothing meaningful happens. That is why so many people take vitamin D faithfully, but still struggle with fatigue, weakness, or muscle loss as they age. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine you walk into a dark room and flip the light switch. The switch works. But if the light bulb is burned out or there is no electricity flowing through the wires, the room stays dark. That is vitamin D. It flips the switch. But without the other nutrients we are going to talk about today, the vitamins that serve as the electricity and the working light bulb, your muscle building system does not illuminate. Now, what does the research show? A large review published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that while vitamin D deficiency is linked to weaker muscles and increased risk of falls, Supplementation alone does not reliably increase muscle strength in healthy adults. The benefits only become clear when vitamin D is paired with adequate protein and other cofactors that actually fuel muscle protein synthesis and mitochondrial energy production. In other words, vitamin D prepares the soil, but without the seeds and water, nothing grows. Here is why this matters in real life. Imagine you are exercising regularly, eating what you think is a balanced diet, and maybe even supplementing with vitamin D. But if your breakfast is just toast and coffee, you are missing the opportunity to load your body with the actual vitamins and proteins that turn the signal from vitamin D into tangible muscle growth. This is why people often complain that they are doing everything right, but still not seeing results in the mirror or the gym. It is not a lack of effort, it is a lack of synergy between nutrients and timing. So what is the practical takeaway here? Do not throw away your vitamin D, but stop thinking of it as the main driver of muscle growth. Instead, think of it as one member of a team. To build muscle effectively, you need the whole lineup working together. And the real stars of this lineup are the two vitamins I am about to reveal. These are the ones that fuel the light bulb and the wiring in our analogy. They work at the level of your mitochondria, the energy factories inside your muscle cells, and they activate the enzymes that physically construct new proteins. Without them, vitamin D cannot complete the job. This is why the rest of our discussion is so important. In the next section, we will talk about the first overlooked vitamin that turns on your muscle building machinery. This vitamin is widely available in food, but most people never get enough of it, especially in the morning. And that one missing step can be the reason your workouts feel flat and your recovery takes longer than it should. If you are finding this breakdown helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day, all designed to help you optimize your metabolism, build muscle naturally, and extend your health span. The first overlooked vitamin that has a powerful impact on muscle growth is vitamin B12. This nutrient is not flashy, and it does not get the headlines that vitamin D or protein powders do, but it is one of the most critical pieces of your muscle building machinery. Without vitamin B12, your body cannot properly use the protein you eat, and your muscle fibers cannot repair or grow efficiently. Here is what is really going on inside your body. Vitamin B12 is essential for a process called methylation, which is like the body's on-off switch for countless biochemical reactions. One of the most important of those reactions is the production of red blood cells and the formation of myelin, the protective coating around your nerves. Why does this matter for muscle? Because your muscles need oxygen delivery, nerve activation, and protein synthesis to work together. If B12 is missing, all three of these systems start to lag. You can lift weights, eat steak, and take vitamin D, but the signal does not reach your muscles in the way it should. Let me explain with a simple analogy. Think of B12 as the ignition key in a car. Protein is the fuel, and exercise is the accelerator pedal, but unless you have the ignition key, the car never starts. You can press the accelerator all you want, but nothing happens. That is what happens when you try to build muscle without enough vitamin B12. Research strongly supports this. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition showed that individuals with low or borderline vitamin B12 levels experience reduced muscle strength and endurance, even if their protein intake was adequate. Another paper in Frontiers in Physiology demonstrated that vitamin B12 supplementation in older adults improved muscle performance and reduced fatigue, particularly when combined with resistance training. The conclusion is clear. Without B12, your muscle building system cannot run at full power. Now, here's why breakfast timing is so important. In the morning, your body is naturally more insulin sensitive, and cortisol, your stress hormone, is at its peak. Cortisol is catabolic, which means it breaks tissue down. If you do not counterbalance that with anabolic signals from protein and key nutrients like B12, your body can actually start the day by breaking down muscle. By taking vitamin B12 at breakfast, ideally paired with protein, you flip the switch in the opposite direction. Instead of breakdown, your body moves into build mode. So, how do you actually get enough vitamin B12? Here are the most reliable sources. Animal-based foods are the richest grass-fed beef, wild-caught salmon, sardines, pasture-raised eggs, and organic dairy are all excellent. For those on a plant-based diet, B12 is very difficult to obtain naturally, which is why supplementation becomes critical. The most bioavailable form is methylcobalamin, which is better utilized by the body than the cheaper cyanocobalamin you often see in generic supplements. One simple protocol is this. At breakfast, pair a protein-rich food such as eggs or Greek yogurt with a natural B12 source like salmon or a high-quality B12 supplement. This ensures the amino acids from the protein are matched with the ignition key of B12, so your muscle protein synthesis machinery turns on immediately. Here is the bottom line. Vitamin B12 is the silent key to unlocking the benefits of the protein, and vitamin D you may already be consuming. Without it, your muscle building system stalls. With it, you create the ideal environment for growth, recovery, and energy that lasts all day. In the next section, we're going to look at the second overlooked vitamin, one that works at the mitochondrial level, the literal energy factories inside your muscle cells. This vitamin ensures not only that your muscles grow, but that they have the strength and endurance to perform at their best. The second overlooked vitamin that makes a profound difference for muscle building is vitamin B6. While B12 acts like the ignition key, B6 is the wiring system that makes sure energy actually flows into your muscles at the right time. Without it, your body cannot efficiently convert protein into usable amino acids, and it cannot generate the steady energy supply that muscles demand during both training and recovery. Here's what is really going on inside your body. Every time you eat protein, your digestive system breaks it down into amino acids, the building blocks of muscle. But for those amino acids to be transformed into new muscle fibers, they must go through a series of chemical reactions called transamination. Vitamin B6 is the coenzyme that makes those reactions possible. No B6, no conversion. That means the protein you are eating may be passing right through your system, underutilized, instead of being built into muscle. Let me explain with a simple analogy. Imagine you are running a construction site again. You have the bricks, protein, and you have the foreman giving the orders, B12. But if you do not have trucks to transport the bricks to the right place, the building cannot go up. Vitamin B6 is like those transport trucks. It moves amino acids into position so that your muscle building machinery can actually assemble them into new tissue. The role of B6 does not stop there. It is also required for glycogen metabolism. Glycogen is the stored form of carbohydrate in your muscles, and it is your quick access energy during exercise. Without B6, your body struggles to release that glycogen when you need it most. That is why people who are low in B6 often feel sluggish, weak, or unable to sustain effort in the gym. Their energy supply chain is broken. What does the research show? Studies in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrate that athletes with inadequate B6 intake experience impaired performance, slower recovery, and even greater levels of inflammation after exercise. Another paper in Nutrients found that vitamin B6 is critical for neurotransmitter synthesis, including serotonin and dopamine, the brain chemicals that influence motivation and mental drive. This means that B6 is not just about physical strength. It also impacts your mood and focus, which indirectly determines how consistent and effective you are with your training. Breakfast timing again makes a huge difference. Cortisol peaks in the morning, creating a natural catabolic push. When you combine protein with vitamin B6 at breakfast, you are essentially feeding your body the materials and the tools it needs to resist that breakdown and shift into an anabolic muscle building state. For example, starting the day with pasture-raised eggs, rich in B6, alongside oatmeal or smoked salmon, not only gives you amino acids and energy, but also primes your metabolic pathways for the rest of the day. Here is a practical protocol. Aim for around 2 milligrams of vitamin B6 daily, which you can get from a mix of whole foods. Top sources include chicken breast, tuna, turkey, bananas, potatoes, and fortified cereals. If supplementation is necessary, choose pyridoxal 5-phosphate, often abbreviated P5P, which is the active form your body can use immediately. Pair that with protein at breakfast, and you have just set the stage for stronger workouts, faster recovery, and steadier energy throughout the day. The key takeaway is this: vitamin B6 is not optional if you want to build and sustain muscle. It is the transporter, the wiring system, and the energy manager all in one. When you combine it with B12 and vitamin D, you are no longer just flipping a switch, you are running an entire power grid designed for growth, strength, and longevity. In the next section, we are going to zoom in on why timing matters so much. You will learn how these vitamins interact with your morning hormone rhythms and why taking them at breakfast multiplies their impact compared to later in the day. If this breakdown is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share content like this every day to help you build muscle, protect your metabolism, and extend your health span naturally. You now understand why vitamin B12 and vitamin B6 are essential for muscle growth, but there is another layer that most people miss. Timing, taking the right nutrients at the wrong time, is like planting seeds in dry soil. They might eventually grow, but the process is slower, weaker, and less reliable. When you align nutrient intake with your body's natural hormonal rhythms, you get faster results with the same effort. Here is what is really going on inside your body. In the morning, cortisol, your main stress hormone, is naturally elevated. Cortisol is catabolic, which means it breaks tissue down. That is part of its normal role, helping release stored glucose to fuel your brain as you wake up. But if left unchecked, that same cortisol surge can also break down muscle protein, leaving you at a disadvantage. This is why people who skip breakfast often feel weak, foggy, or less motivated to exercise. Now, here is the critical part. When you eat a protein-rich breakfast and pair it with B12 and B6, you shift the morning balance from catabolic to anabolic. Protein supplies amino acids, B12 ensures they can be activated, and B6 transports them into the muscle-building pathway. At the same time, your insulin sensitivity is highest in the morning, meaning your body can use nutrients more efficiently. So instead of storing energy as fat, you direct it into muscle tissue. Let me explain with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a factory that opens at 6 o'clock in the morning. All the workers show up, but without raw materials and tools, they just stand around. If you deliver protein, B12, and B6 right at the start of the shift, the workers immediately get to work building muscle fibers. If you delay and deliver those materials late in the afternoon, the factory has already lost precious hours of productivity. The result is slower growth and weaker outcomes. Research backs this up. A study in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that individuals who consumed a high-protein breakfast with sufficient B vitamins experienced greater gains in lean mass and improved recovery compared to those who delayed protein intake until later in the day. Another paper in Chronobiology International highlighted that synchronizing nutrient intake with circadian rhythms amplified muscle protein synthesis and reduced markers of muscle breakdown. Here is how you can apply this in a practical way. At breakfast, aim for 20 to 30 grams of high-quality protein paired with foods rich in B12 and B6. That might look like 2 eggs with smoked salmon and sautéed spinach, or Greek yogurt with a banana and a sprinkle of nuts. If you use supplements, take your B12 and B6 alongside this meal to maximize absorption and synergy. For those who exercise in the morning, this becomes even more important because you are not only repairing muscle from yesterday's workout, but also fueling today's training session. Another detail worth mentioning is energy stability. Many people rely on coffee and carbohydrates alone in the morning. That combination spikes cortisol and blood sugar, then leads to a mid-morning crash. By starting the day with protein and these 2 vitamins, you create a slow, steady release of energy that supports focus and endurance. This makes you not only stronger in the gym, but also more productive at work or school. The key takeaway is this: timing multiplies effectiveness. The same nutrients taken at dinner may still help, but when taken at breakfast, they align with your hormonal and metabolic machinery to deliver significantly more muscle building power. This is the edge most people miss. And it is why adjusting just the timing of your vitamins can unlock a completely new level of results. In the next section, we will explore a food-first approach. Instead of defaulting to pills, you will learn which natural foods provide these vitamins in their most bioavailable forms and how to combine them for maximum effect. Up until now, we have talked about why vitamin B12 and vitamin B6 are critical for muscle growth and why timing at breakfast can make or break your results. But there is another layer that matters just as much, the source of those vitamins. You see, not all nutrients are created equal. Supplements can be helpful, especially when deficiencies exist, but your body is designed to absorb and use vitamins from whole foods far more efficiently. When you focus on food first, you not only get the vitamin itself, but also a synergistic package of minerals, proteins, fats, and phytonutrients that amplify its effect. Here is what is really going on inside your body. When you consume a whole food rich in B12 or B6, you also get cofactors like zinc, iron, magnesium, and healthy fats. These act like supporting players, ensuring that the vitamin can be absorbed, transported, and used exactly where it is needed. By contrast, taking a synthetic pill in isolation is a little like hiring a worker but not giving them the tools they need. The result is incomplete or less efficient muscle building. Let me give you a simple analogy. Think of food as an orchestra. Vitamin B12 might be the violin. Vitamin B6 might be the cello. On their own, they can make sound. But when combined with the entire orchestra, the minerals, proteins, and natural enzymes that come with whole foods, you get a full symphony. The sound is richer, more powerful, and more effective. That is exactly how food-based nutrition works. So where do you actually find these vitamins in their most bioavailable forms? For vitamin B12, the best sources are animal-based foods. Wild-caught salmon, sardines, grass-fed beef, pasture-raised eggs, and organic dairy provide B12 in forms your body can use immediately. For plant-based eaters, B12 is almost non-existent in natural plant foods, which is why supplementation is often unavoidable. If that is you, look for methylcobalamin, the form that is easiest to absorb. For vitamin B6, you have a broader range. Poultry, such as chicken and turkey, are excellent sources, as are tuna and salmon. On the plant side, bananas, potatoes, chickpeas, and fortified cereals carry meaningful amounts. Nuts and seeds can also contribute small but useful doses. The key is variety. By combining animal and plant sources, or carefully planning a plant-based strategy, you can easily reach the 2 milligrams per day your body needs for optimal muscle growth and recovery. Breakfast is the perfect opportunity to combine these foods. Imagine starting your day with 2 pasture-raised eggs, sautéed spinach, and smoked salmon on the side. That plate gives you both B12 and B6, plus protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and iron, all of which work together to enhance muscle repair and energy production. Or if you prefer a plant-forward approach, a bowl of Greek yogurt with sliced banana, a handful of walnuts, and a sprinkle of chia seeds delivers protein, B6, magnesium, and fiber. Research supports the food-first approach. A study in Advances in Nutrition highlighted that B vitamins from food were associated with better muscle function outcomes than equivalent doses from supplements alone. Another review in Nutrients emphasized that whole food dietary patterns rich in B vitamins correlated with lower inflammation and improved metabolic health, compared to isolated supplementation. The reason is synergy. Food carries the whole orchestra. Of course, supplements can still play a role, especially if you are vegetarian, vegan, or dealing with absorption challenges such as low stomach acid or gut imbalances. But think of them as insurance, not the foundation. Start with food, then supplement strategically if needed. The bottom line is this. Do not just think about popping a pill. Think about building your meals as muscle-building packages. When you combine protein, B12-rich foods, and B6-rich foods at breakfast, you set the stage for growth, recovery, and steady energy throughout the day. In the next section, I will put this all together into a simple morning protocol you can follow step by step so that you can apply this knowledge tomorrow morning and start seeing results faster. We have covered the science, the timing, and the food sources. Now, let us put it all together into a simple, actionable protocol that you can begin tomorrow morning. This routine is designed to take advantage of your body's natural rhythms, give your muscles the building blocks they need, and keep your energy steady throughout the day. Here is what is really going on inside your body when you follow this protocol. First, you are delivering protein to supply amino acids. Second, you are pairing that protein with vitamin B12 to activate the muscle building machinery. Third, you are adding vitamin B6 to transport those amino acids into the pathways where new muscle fibers are constructed. And finally, you are doing it all at breakfast, the one time of day when your body is most responsive to nutrient signals. Let me walk you through the steps. Step number 1, hydrate immediately upon waking. Start with a glass of water before anything else. This helps your metabolism fire up and supports digestion for the nutrients you are about to consume. Step number 2, build a protein-centered breakfast. Aim for at least 20 to 30 grams of high-quality protein. Examples include 2 to 3 pasture-raised eggs with a side of Greek yogurt, or a protein smoothie with unsweetened almond milk, a scoop of clean protein powder, and frozen berries. Protein is your foundation. Step number 3, layer in vitamin B12. If you eat animal foods, this could mean smoked salmon with your eggs or grass-fed beef strips alongside your breakfast. If you're plant-based, this is the moment to take a high-quality B12 supplement, ideally in the methylcobalamin form. Take it with your meal to maximize absorption. Step number 4, add vitamin B6-rich foods. Options include a sliced banana on the side, a small baked potato, or even chickpeas added into an omelet. These foods are rich in B6 and synergize perfectly with the protein and B12 you are already consuming. If you prefer supplementation, choose pyridoxal 5-phosphate, the active form of B6, and take it alongside your breakfast. Step number 5, support absorption and energy. A small amount of healthy fat, such as avocado, nuts, or olive oil, helps stabilize blood sugar and keeps you satiated. Pairing your vitamins with healthy fat also improves nutrient uptake. Now let me give you an example breakfast protocol. Imagine a plate with 2 scrambled eggs cooked in olive oil, a side of smoked salmon, half a sliced avocado, and a banana. With this one meal, you are hitting all the key targets: protein, B12, B6, healthy fats, and timing. If you prefer a lighter plant-forward option, try a smoothie with protein powder, almond milk, a banana, a tablespoon of almond butter, and a B12 supplement on the side. If you train in the morning, this protocol is even more powerful. By fueling with B12 and B6 at breakfast, you are repairing muscle damage from exercise and preparing your body to adapt and grow stronger. If you train later in the day, this still sets the stage by keeping your muscles primed with nutrients and your energy stable for hours. Here is the key: consistency. One perfect breakfast will not transform your body overnight, but when you repeat this habit daily, you accumulate the benefits. Your energy stabilizes, your recovery improves, and over time, your muscle mass and metabolism shift in a measurable way. Research confirms this approach. A paper in Nutrients showed that combining protein with B vitamins in the morning enhanced lean body mass and lowered fatigue scores compared to protein alone. Another study in clinical nutrition emphasized that early day nutrient timing led to more favorable body composition outcomes compared to late day intake. The bottom line is simple. Start your day with this protocol and you will notice the difference. You will feel stronger in your workouts, sharper in your focus, and more stable in your energy. Over weeks and months, this compounds into visible muscle growth, better weight control, and healthier aging. In the conclusion, I will recap the main insights and leave you with a direct challenge to try this protocol tomorrow morning and track how your body responds. We have covered a lot today, so let us bring it all together. First, we challenge the common belief that vitamin D supplements alone are enough for muscle strength. Yes, vitamin D is important, but it acts more like a switch than a builder. Without the right supporting nutrients, the signal never turns into real growth. Second, we uncovered the 2 overlooked vitamins that make all the difference: vitamin B12 and vitamin B6. Vitamin B12 is the ignition key, ensuring that the protein you eat can actually be activated and used by your muscles. Vitamin B6 is the transport system, shuttling amino acids into place, and unlocking glycogen so that your muscles have both the raw material and the energy to perform and grow. Third, we looked at why timing matters. By taking these vitamins at breakfast paired with protein, you flip the morning hormonal environment from catabolic to anabolic. Instead of muscle breakdown, you create muscle growth. This is the hidden edge that most people miss when they delay or skip their first meal. Fourth, we explored the food-first approach. Whole foods provide not just the vitamins themselves, but also the supporting minerals, fats, and cofactors that make absorption and utilization far more efficient. Eggs, salmon, bananas, potatoes, yogurt, and lean meats are not just healthy foods. They are muscle-building tools when used strategically. Finally, we put it all together into a practical morning protocol. Hydrate first, build a protein-rich breakfast, layer in B12 and B6 from whole foods or supplements, and add healthy fats for stability. Whether you're an athlete looking for an edge or someone who simply wants to preserve strength and energy as you age, this is a foundation you can begin tomorrow. Here is why this matters so much. Starting in your 30s and accelerating through your 40s, 50s, and beyond, muscle loss, called sarcopenia, quietly erodes your strength, energy, and independence. It is not just about aesthetics or performance. Muscle is your metabolic currency. It determines how well you manage blood sugar, how efficiently you burn fat, and how resilient you are against aging. Protecting it is protecting your future. So here is my challenge for you. Tomorrow morning, do not just reach for coffee and toast. Try this protocol. Build your breakfast around protein. Add foods or supplements rich in B12 and B6, and pay attention to how your body responds. Track your energy, your focus, and over time, your strength and recovery. You may be surprised at how quickly things begin to shift. If this added value for you, like this video and subscribe to join others who are optimizing their health naturally. Every week, I share evidence-based strategies that help you build muscle, burn fat, and extend your health span without relying on unnecessary medications. Remember, muscle is not built in the gym alone. It is built in the kitchen, in the timing of your meals, and in the nutrients you choose every day. Start tomorrow and let your breakfast become your most powerful tool for growth.